Social Security is available to you as early as the age of 62. So is it the right decision to take it then? For many people, the answer is a resounding no. And in this video, I want to share with you 5 potential major consequences that could end up being very costly for your retirement. But before we get there, subscribe to my channel. I have over 30 years in this business, become an expert in Social Security and retirement income planning. So I want to share with you those decisions that we make with our clients, give you that information so you don't make costly mistakes. So I want to share with you a recent study that was done by United Income. It stated that Americans lose trillions claiming Social Security at the wrong time. It said the study concluded that 96% of retirees choose the wrong year to tap Social Security, and most people are better off waiting until 70 to claim, yet 43% of adults actually are better off claiming before 70. The big takeaway? By claiming at the right time, more than half of retirees would see their income in their 70s and 80s rise by more than 25%. So I go back to my initial statement. For most people, it's a resounding no. It is a mistake to take it early. It could be very costly later for you, and if you're married, potentially your spouse. So let's get started. So we're going to start here. We're going to call it If Life Changes. As a financial advisor, there are very few things I can guarantee for my clients, except for one big item. I guarantee you that life will change. For many people, they plan for what I call perfect. But sometimes what they do end up finding is the perfect storm, because things have changed and they didn't have contingency plans. Plan A, B, and C. We don't know what lies ahead of us. I just know it won't be exactly as we have planned. So what if you planned, let's say, to stop working early and to collect your Social Security at age 62, and then life changes? Let's say you find another job, or you find that income is low and you need to go back, or there was a health circumstance, or you found some money coming in and you thought, I want to go change that. Well, you do have the ability to redo that irrevocable decision by taking it early, but that only applies to the first 12 months. After that, you can't go back. So be very careful about changing when you think you've planned for perfect. I'll call the next one, your spouse is depending on you. So let's say he or she is dependent upon your work record to get his or her spousal benefit, or even more importantly, a survivor benefit. Let's go through this for just a moment. So the rules for the spousal benefits: the primary worker must have filed for benefits, the spouse must be at least 62 for reduced benefits or full retirement age for a full benefit, and there are no delayed credits on spousal benefits after your full retirement age. So again, if we're married, and I go to the next slide, we see that the spousal benefit is 1/2 of the primary worker's PIA, primary insurance amount, if started at full retirement age. For example, John's PIA is $2,000, Jane's is $800. If Jane applies at full retirement age, her benefit will be $1,000, not just 50% of John's. It will be 50% of John's, not Jane's $800. By the way, I have another full video on this if you want to take a look at it. So if your spouse is depending upon your work record, or if for some reason he or she survives you, her benefit is going to be based on when you started to take your benefits. So if you started to take your benefits earlier and got less as a result, and I'll get to that in just a moment, your spouse will be penalized for the rest of his or her life. So number 3 is, and I just mentioned it, not maximizing your PIA. So let me get into that right now. So how are Social Security benefits calculated? At age 62, each year's earnings are tallied up, and they're indexed for inflation. You have the highest 35 years of earnings, and they're averaged. Then they get put into the blender, what is called bend points. And then the benefit is increased each year by cost of living adjustments, the COLA. As you can see here, as an example of the benefit, if you're a baby boomer born in 1960 and you turned 62 in the year 2022, and you maxed out your earnings, then your PIA, the primary insurance amount, is approximately $3,357. If you did not maximize your highest 35 years and you had numbers that were lower or zeros, and you retire early, you may be missing out on increasing and maximizing your PIA. Because let's say you were going to retire at 62, but if you worked another 3 or 4 years at higher income, then not only you would delay it to a higher number, but your PIA would be higher because you have higher earnings for your top 35 years. So be aware of this part of the calculation of what your primary insurance amount is. Listen, in my latest book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement, my second chapter of the book is all about Social Security. I want to offer it to you. Just go up to my banner, hit free chapter. It will give you a lot of the answers to the questions that you have, so make sure you click on that. I'm going to call the 4th of the 5 major consequences for taking Social Security early as behind the 8 ball. So let me share with you a couple of charts. So what if you do apply for early benefits, and let's assume your full retirement age is 67. You would get 100% of your PIA. So why delay benefits? As you can see here, we're assuming full retirement age is 67. And we're assuming in that second column, you're only getting 70% of your benefit, which is a 30% haircut. And if you go all the way to the right, you see that the benefit you would have gotten would be $2,100 versus the age 67, you would have gotten $3,300, or you'd be giving up $1,200 every single month. And the last one is what I'll call still working. So let me take you to my chart for just a moment and then share with you a story. So if you do decide to claim early and you're still working, then $1 in benefits will be withheld for every $2 you earn over $19,560 in the year of 2022. So this may not seem like a lot, but it could be quite a surprise and a shock if you go about to plan for something, as a client of mine did many years ago. So she was working part-time and she said she wanted to go to Disney with her grandkids. She was going to work a few more hours a week to generate an extra $8,000 she felt she needed for the trip. So her accountant and I got together and we took a look at her numbers, and she hit what we called the perfect storm. Because of the thresholds that she had, because she had claimed Social Security early and she was still working, she was only going to keep about 22% of the $8,000 that she had earned at the time. Now, she was going to get some of it back later on when she reached her full retirement age. But for that moment, to take the kids to the grandkids to Disney, to go about and generate the $8,000 to only keep about $1,600 or $1,800 of it wasn't something that I recommended. So it's good to know the numbers beforehand and to understand the consequences if you do plan incorrectly.